Love it. Waiting for me to introduce you there, a little pause. By the way, everybody, he's playing piano right now, and we'll flash up the picture here for you so you can see and follow along. This is my boy Carlos Lara, and I'm super happy he came here today.
Thank you. You should probably get closer.
You're good enough. We can pull it through. Yeah, you can. We can hear you for the moment. Keep going. Play it out. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yes.
What's the name?
Chabacano. Chabacano.
So we're going to spell that for you again in a few minutes. Chabacano. If you search your name, will it come up?
Most likely.
Right.
You just put Carlos Lara, piano with feet.
I'll make sure we flash it up at some point in the editing. People need to follow you for multiple reasons. I miss you. I miss having you in class, Carlos.
I miss being in class. Honestly.
Yeah, I told my students today that when you came in, one of us or both of us would probably cry, and I'm already getting teared up. So good. Woo! Let's get this party started. So when you get a chance, you can finish this out there.
I was just trying to make you cry with
No, you're gonna do it today, so it doesn't. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna get your cry. You're gonna get your cry. Love it, buddy.
Good. Awesome.
So, everybody, I want to welcome again the wonderful Carlos Lara. The amazing is the word I put here. But aside from the the fact that you can play piano with your feet, seeing as you've had to do things with your feet your whole life,
right?
That's almost, we say ambidextrous. What would you call yourself?
I would call it normal. I mean, yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is your normal.
Yeah, it's my normal. That's why I had a hard time in school not using my feet, because that wasn't normal for me.
Yeah, and how did you do it at first? So walk us through the beginning of when you first came to the country, because I know you were young.
Yeah, I was 11 when I came, so that was 10 years ago. And we came trying to look for a better future, I guess you can say. I would have never imagined what was going to happen here, all the opportunities I would have gotten here, and everything that God has blessed us with here.
And where did you come from as a family? Guatemala.
Yeah,
I was right. I had said that earlier.
Yeah.
It's like, I think Guatemala.
Yeah, with my mom. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we came, and here's where everything has happened.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So how old were you when you first came over?
11.
11. And what grade?
I was in 5th grade, so I went to Roland Park.
So what was it like? Describe it. Do you remember your first day at Roland Park?
Yes, I hated it because I didn't speak English, so I thought everyone was being mad at me because I had a teacher who, I don't know, she would scream for everything, so I thought she was mad. But she wasn't. That's just the way.
That was Miss Henderson. You just didn't know it.
Yeah. But yeah, and it was scary, really scary, especially when you have no hands, so you feel even more awkward because everyone sees you different when you're a kid.
Yeah, I can't imagine. And this is one of those things that when you told us these stories in class and to the other students, we've no idea what that feels like.
No, it's like I don't know what it feels like to have hands, so it's so different.
But it's still a numbers thing. I mean, if I guess it would be no different than being like the one black person in an entire neighborhood of white people or a country of white people.
Yeah, I mean, like I was telling you, I don't think any pain is different. I mean, pain is pain, so if you feel pain for something, it's not like I have more pain or I suffer more just because I have no hands. No,
so
suffering is suffering, so... Yeah.
So what else? How about the kids? That was always mine. And
I have no kids.
As a child, I remember being even a teenager, elementary school, terrifying. Middle school, I sort of found some friends.
Yeah.
So it was a little better, but then high school, middle school, the entire growing up process is hard enough. And we all go through this identity thing of who am I, we all think we're different, but it had to have been amplified, or do you equate it to something else?
I guess you can say it was worst because I had to learn how to think differently from a very young age. So I had to understand from the time I was 5 years old, I had to understand that my life wasn't going to change. So I had to understand that people were always going to look at me differently and were always going to feel sorry for me, because you can't stop it. You just feel sorry for people who have a disability or something. But as I grew up, I think this helped me to understand life a little bit better, and or at least much faster. So that's why I think I started understanding why this happened since I was like 11 or 10. Although I can't say it didn't make me happy. I mean, it didn't make me happy. It's hard to live with no hands. So I can't say, I've never been sad in my life. And you can't say that either because you have been sad.
Yeah, everybody's got their moments.
Yeah, so the same things that I went through, I bet everyone has gone through. So
going back even further then, do you remember the first moment that you noticed you were different?
I don't remember exactly the first moment. I just remember when I was 5, I would look at myself in the mirror and I would start thinking, why am I even here? Or what's the purpose of my life? Why am I so different? And then when I would look at myself in the mirror, I would start thinking, why do I even want to serve God? Because that was my dream from the time I was 5. I wanted to play drums to serve God. And I would feel like the thoughts coming to my mind, like, why do I even want to serve the God who forgot about me?
So you were angry? There was the anger towards God?
Not anger, I just felt he was unfair. Because there I was trying to serve him through drums, and it was impossible for me. And I would see a lot of people with everything, hands or whatever they needed, and they would not do anything for him. And that was what made me really upset. Not mad with God, but just I felt he was unfair. And I was like, that is so unfair. And
Did you in that, the aspect of relating to people, so as you walked around as a kid, in the moment when you're like, why did this happen? What if I was here for you, why did you do this to me? In the resentment, was there ever a nobody else knows what I'm going through feeling?
Oh yeah, and it was with my mom, because my mom was very optimistic, and I believe in God, and I have a lot of faith in God because of my mom, because that's how she raised me. And I wanted to play drums from the time I was 5, and then when I was 9, I still couldn't play drums. So I was like, man, I feel like God left me, And I told my mom, it got to the point where I didn't want to do my schoolwork, I didn't want to talk with my friends, I didn't want to talk with my mom. And it was because I wanted something. I wanted to play music. And one time my mom noticed, and she was like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know if you know this, but I want to serve God. I want to be able to play the drums. And like you were asking me, she was like, why don't you do it? Right? And I got so mad with her because I was like, don't you see? I can't. You don't understand because you have your hands. I can't do anything, I said. And I'm going to probably bring up a lot the Bible because that's what I believe in. And in the Bible it says, everything is possible through Christ. And she told me that. She was, don't you know that you can do anything with Christ? And I was like, yeah. And I've heard that before, but it became a saying to me, like a phrase that someone says to people when they're sad. I never would have imagined that was really a promise from God. You can do anything through my name if you want to serve me or if you are faithful to me, And so yeah, definitely it was against my mom because I always thought that she didn't understand just because she has hands. And it's hard to understand. Like, I can't understand what anybody can go through if I haven't lived it, They can't understand what I have gone through because they haven't lived it.
Your perspective's hard.
Yeah. It's my normal, right? So,
Yeah, I like when you said that earlier. I was like, oh, he got me already. He's like, this is my normal.
Yeah, it's
I'm
my
like,
normal.
oh.
So I have no other way to look at it. Yeah.
So tell me more about Mom's optimism, because I didn't.
Well, okay.
I knew Mom was always there for you,
Yes.
but I didn't realize this driving force of optimism.
Yes. Okay. So
in
this is what happened.
dark situation.
This is what happened. So when she was 3 months pregnant, she had a dream where a voice told her, the son that you have in you is going to be born with problems that for the world are catastrophic, but for you and your family, they're going to be a blessing. And she woke up, you know? And she woke up and she was like, holy cow, you know? Like, what was that? And then when she went back to sleep, the voice told her, yes, it's going to have problems, but just have faith. And then she woke up and she tried to forget about it. When I was born, the doctor came and told her, your son doesn't have any hands, right? So that was what the voice told her, that I was going to have problems. But at the same time, they told her it's going to be a blessing for you. So then the doctor came to my mom and he was like, you know, he can't breathe on his own right now, so that's why he's in this machine that keeps him alive. He doesn't have hands. Kids like that come just to suffer. But I can do a really big favor for you. I can just unplug the machine. And nothing happened, you know? And I would think the doctor was expecting like oh my God, you're so good. Thank you for being such a good doctor. But my mom was like, what? No, you know, you didn't give him life. So what gives you the right to take his life away? And then my mom tells me that after that happened, she started praying and she told God, he has problems and I bet this is going to be hard for me. But it doesn't matter. You know, you told me about it. And so I'm going to do my best to support him, to give him all my love, to give him everything he needs, with one condition, that when he grows up, he serves you. When he grows up, he does what he loves to do. That you won't stop him from doing what he likes, you know? And then, so I think because of that promise is that I'm hearing. Because my mom could have so easily said, oh yes, please take that away from me, you know? And it's hard for me to understand that because even though I have disabilities, even though I know what it feels like to be disabled, I don't know what I would do if my son was disabled. Like if...
Yeah, we had that discussion in class one time.
Really? I don't remember.
It was
that.
Holocaust class, and we were talking
Okay.
about the fact that the Nazis had a law that would have made sure that either you weren't born, either you never had kids yourself, or that they would have secretly, unfortunately, euthanized you in a hospital.
Yeah.
And I asked you, this is why we were really close senior year, so we'll get there. We're not in the story yet, but I asked you, I'm like, if you had a choice of having a healthy child or a child that came out disabled, what would you choose?
I mean, I think you would know what I would choose. I would choose a regular kid, of course. Like, I don't wish a disabled kid upon anyone, but at the same time, if that was to happen to me, now I see that it's not so bad. I see that disabled kids can probably do even more things than regular people.
And I'm going to tell you right now that you being born and you being here with all of us is such a promotive force to us. It's an incredible feeling to have someone like you there to check us, prove to us how amazing we all are, and then the miracle that you are, that from the beginning, I didn't know that story about the hospital.
Right.
That we would be different without you, Carlos. We would be...
That was,
do you need to put your shoes back on?
No, I'm okay. Yeah, no, I don't want to put my socks back on.
Oh, gosh. It doesn't smell. You're good.
Oh, man. One time, I don't know, I was going to give my talk in front of people, and I had to take my shoes off. Because of the cheese smell, I brought nachos. You know? Yeah. But look, going back to what you were saying.
Do you want me to... having you put your shoes on would be like me telling someone to put gloves on their hands during the show.
So I don't want to do that. I'm free right now. So, yeah, but going back to what you were saying is what I always say and the way I think is, if I asked you right now, am I perfect? What would you say?
I would say after knowing you now,
Okay.
more perfect than us.
Okay, what if I ask you, are you perfect? What would you say?
I think I would say no.
Why?
Because we all have these strengths and weaknesses, and we all look at ourselves in the mirror and we all find something wrong with ourselves, and either we try to fix it or we accept it. There's many different ways to handle it, but
Right.
no one's perfect, and we know that.
Well, I think everyone is perfect, though, because I'm not talking about perfect of you can do everything or you have money or whatever. I'm thinking about the fact that you're perfect for what God for your life, you know? So if I'm perfect for the purpose He had for my life, you're perfect. You're a perfect teacher, Boyko. So, and the purpose I think God had for your life is to motivate kids in the class. You know, I'm perfect because God had the plan for my life to play the piano with my feet.
I think that's minimal to what you do for us, by the way.
Well, thank you.
You know what I'm talking about, and I know you're being modest, but and I'm going to bring it up later, so I don't want to do it now, but it's a reward for everyone else. It's almost a selfish reward for us, and I wish there was a way for us to show you, because this is that perspective thing. I wish we could show you what you do for us. It's just this hope, this love. Anyone who doesn't know you doesn't understand what this feeling is.
Thank you. I mean,
it's crazy.
Although I don't know what it is, and I told you this before. When I first meet people, my fear is, what are they going to think of me, you know? But I don't know what it is that happens that once I talk to them, they don't even realize I have no hands, you know?
I told you the day that we, you know, you would probably always constantly walk around, like you said, wondering. By the way, everyone does that. Mm-hmm. When everyone meets someone for the first time, they're like, I wonder what this person's going to think of me. This is what you said. You're normal. Mm-hmm. We're all the same. You're right.
So
we're all perfect.
But I bet everyone goes through that, you know. So to whoever is listening, hopefully they understand, right? That it's not just you. It's not just them. It's everyone.
Yeah, this is a wonderful place.
Yeah, and we get to, in this country especially, we get to live the way we see we should live. You know?
And when you said the doctor in Guatemala was like, look, I can just go do this. I'm like,
yeah. Well,
not here, thankfully.
Yeah, exactly. Not here.
Not here.
Not here. Yeah.
Those I have to tell you. And Emily, if you were able to talk to my fiance, she's one of the few people. I have a soft spot for a certain group of people, and when I see them, I have no control over my emotions. I literally become amazingly happy, and I can just feel love pouring from me, and that's Down syndrome people.
Okay.
So this idea that we look at each other in a different way, mm-hmm. and we all have these things that we point out about each other, differences, race, gender, all of these things we find different about each other. But there are so many things we could be looking at each other and emanating this care. And I told you, I don't have any control over it. It's not like I'm some awesome person. Like, yes, empathy. Yeah. No, it's not even that. It's literally like, I love them.
Yeah.
And Emily and I have discussed these things, and I said, you know what? If I had a baby with Down syndrome, I would be the happiest person in the world. Yeah,
it's like my mom tells me when she was younger, she would ask God, I want a husband with a disability, I want a husband with no hands or no feet because I want to take care of them. I want to love them. I want to be that person who loves them. Who would have thought she would have had a kid with no hands?
Yeah, and your mom, I've met her a few times. What an amazing lady. Yeah. Super lucky.
Yeah, and what makes her so special is just the fact that she said no when that doctor asked her that,
Talk about a moment that you have a decision to make.
Yeah, and she didn't even doubt it.
The life that would not have happened, mm-hmm. and the lives that you would have not have changed.
And I mean, I'm trying to be humble, but yeah, it's true. What you're saying is true.
Look, Coach Lee's in the building. You can say whatever you want and still be humble.
Yeah.
By the way, I told you, your jokes that you would say to people.
Yeah.
Very few people are able to put Coach Lee on blast. And when you came in from the parking lot that one morning and hugged yourself instead, it's so cold I can't feel my fingers.
Yeah.
You knocked him.
And the thing is,
back.
I was being serious. I couldn't feel my fingers.
Yeah, I have a question. People who lose appendages after they have them have phantom limb syndrome. You would never have that, right?
I feel like when I talk, I feel like if I went like that, or if I went like that, I feel like I'm using my fingers. So I don't know if that's considered the same thing, because I feel as if I had them, and I feel that if right now I was to get hands, I would be able to use them just because I think I know what it feels like. But I don't know if it's the same thing though, because I can say, and I know it's a lot harder to lose something when you had it than to never have had it.
And we discussed that, the almost benefit that you were born this way versus it happened.
Definitely. That because like I
this
said,
is
this
your
is
normal.
my normal. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know anything better than this, right? And that's why I take advantage of what I have. And I try to do my best to do everything. Like I can do whatever you think. If you
run us through the list. I'm sure everybody's wondering, well, without getting too personal, you know, I about the water, I asked you earlier, opening a thing of water would be tough, but not drinking from it.
Although it's tough in public, but in my house, I never.
Oh, you have your feet.
I use my feet.
Yeah, everything your feet.
Yeah. I just make sure I have some nachos for the cheese on the lid, you know. But no, I mean,
your feet don't smell. You're good.
No, they don't. I don't know why. I don't.
So lucky right now. Nice.
Yeah, they don't. No, and they never have. Like that's why I tell you, God made me perfect. Like, how come I don't sweat from my feet? Like to the point, like some people, they stink.
Do you axe down there? Do you spray?
Oh my goodness! I gotta tell you what I did one time. Oh, this is embarrassing. And I
that's why we're here, Carlos.
I promised myself I would never tell anyone. And I have told my.
You know how many people are gonna watch this? Like 3. No,
yeah, I was gonna like 1.
Since you're on it, trust me, you're getting 100 plus, 200 plus.
Okay, so one time I was gonna go play at this event, and every time I play, by the time I'm done, I'm sweating so bad. Even right now, I'm sweating.
Well, I blame Mr. Cannon. It's Friday.
Yeah, so every time I finish playing the drums, I'm sweating, and so bad. So one day I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play at this event tonight. Usually when we're done, people come to me to either say hi or meet me or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's so embarrassing to be sweating. And
not as a performer,
right? But then I'm like, what can I do so I don't sweat? You know? And I had it. A lot of people have told me to put the bands you put here when you do exercise, so that the sweat doesn't come up down to your face. I was like, I don't want to play with that. That's gonna make me even sweat a lot more. I don't know. So I was putting deodorant on my arm and I was like, holy cow, this might work. So I was like. I put it on my forehead, and I was like, putting it, and I was like,
oh my gosh, your whole face.
It smelled good. But then, I was like, all right, hopefully this works. I finished playing that night, and I was like this, no sweat. I was like, holy cow, this worked. So I was so happy to say hi to people, like, hi, nice to meet you. Like 3 minutes after I finished playing, I get a fever. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. I told the people I was with, I don't feel good at all.
You think it was the deodorant? Think it was breathing it in, maybe?
Well, I mean, sweat is to cool down your body. So if it can't come out, all that warmth is inside of you, you know? So it was all trapped inside.
Make sure you get some.
Yeah, thank you. So that was a bad idea. So I don't recommend to try that at home or anywhere.
Mr. Cannon would if it was possible. Trust me. Him and his handkerchiefs, his 50 handkerchiefs.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a dumb idea.
You think he would have it like 30 degrees in here, not that 90 that it feels like. Thank you, Hillsborough County. We got important stuff to do, and you drop the heat.
Yeah. So I'm always sweating. That's why you can ask people who know me and who see me every day. I'm always with my fan. I carry it everywhere I go.
You didn't bring it today?
No, because I left it at the school. Yeah. Not here. I remember Jefferson was a lot cooler.
It probably was, because that was Mr. Morgan, and he did what he wanted. Cannon, yeah, well, I made fun of Cannon too much already. Whoa! So, here he comes.
Yeah. By the way, thank you for having me here. It's awesome.
Carlos.
I gotta
When I talked to you last week or 2 weeks ago, and this was even an option, I'm like,
it was
you gotta
actually
come
Monday.
in. This Monday?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
What? Oh no, it wasn't. Holy cow.
No, it's been a while. You came in.
Yeah, you're right. It was last week.
Yeah.
But I told Boyko that for 3 years since I went down the front door, I was like, I'm gonna go visit Boyko tomorrow. tomorrow.
And sometimes you'd even message me saying, I gotta come see you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, you do.
So I finally did 3 years later. So.
And I'm very glad you did.
I'm glad too.
That morning was a great morning, and of course my goal is to have it repeat here, which it already is. So
yeah,
everything's wonderful.
Awesome.
I was earlier we were commenting on Nazi Germany, and even the United States was deciding to sterilize certain people, and I thought how far we've come as a society. Do you think it has a lot to do with human beings maturing as human beings and moving past? Or, I mean, because your mom still had the option.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it depends how you were raised. Because, I mean, in my family, I have another cousin who is also missing a hand. Supposedly, I have a lot of cousins, like from my grandfather's side, that also don't have hands. So I think that was something that was like an influence with my mom, that okay, so this has happened before. But in society itself, I think it's just because we have become more mature, from before.
So we're learning lessons.
Well,
we hope
with
we're learning
technology
lessons
now, though. People with disabilities can do a lot more than before. Probably.
Okay, so go further on the technology, because we talked about this in high school. 10th grade, you had a hook.
Yes, a prosthetic arm.
And that was your life.
Yeah.
So, and the face you make, because we would have never known what you were feeling with that prosthesis. So explain the transition, and then, of course, up to the iPad.
Yeah, so I had it. Okay. So I made a bad face when you told me about the prosthetic arm. I shouldn't, because the prosthetic arm is what allowed me to come to the U.S. in the first place. They let me come here because I was going to get a prosthetic arm.
That was a requirement?
That was the reason why they told us we could come. Because when we tried 4 years, and they would deny us the visa to come.
Wow.
And then on the last time, it was God in the first place, and then the lady was like, look, you do not qualify. And I asked my manager. He told me, I can't give you the visa to go to the U.S. But I want to give you the opportunity to get a prosthetic arm, So she put on the visa, going to Shriners in Chicago to get a prosthetic arm. And she was like, this is your only chance. Take advantage of it. And so I shouldn't think about the prosthetic arm as a bad thing, because it was a good thing. That's what changed my life. But then when I got it here, I started using it in school. Before, I used to use my toes to write in school. But then I used a prosthetic arm, and then I used it from the time I was in 6th grade till my sophomore year, so 10th grade.
So I have to ask you, we have learned how to write once.
Right.
You've learned how to write twice.
3 times.
3 times.
Because now I don't use a prosthetic arm, and I just use my arm. I don't have it with me, but it's the same thing I used to grab a drumstick with. 3 times, but now
and you had great handwriting each time, by the way.
Yeah, now it's really good. Now my handwriting is good. The natural way, though, my normal way, not with a prosthetic arm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember. Do I remember you writing with your prosthesis?
Oh yeah.
Did you at first? Because I know you held the paper with your chin.
Yeah, and I was in your class my sophomore year. Yeah, I was in your class my sophomore year.
I know. I think sophomore year was the year you decided, because I remember moving from
the end of sophomore year. So basically, what happened with that is I was so afraid of what people would think about me if I was just like this with no prosthetic arm. So that's why I would keep wearing it, because I was afraid of what people were gonna think of me. But every time I would wake up in the morning, like, I would hate myself, because I was like, oh my God, I have to put this on. And it's not so much that it's ugly in the first place, but it's just uncomfortable, because you put your arm in the prosthetic arm, and you have a lot of straps that come all around, and you have to push and do a lot of like force and strength, use a lot of strength to open it.
So you had to,
I have to go like this and push at the same time.
and that would open it?
Yes, that would open it every
Some
time.
natural closed it.
And then yeah. So I had to learn how to do that, and so that was really annoying. Just to wake up every morning, I know, oh my goodness, I have to put this thing on, and every time
it wasn't comfortable at all.
no, and every time I would put it on, I would change. I would become someone else. That's why I'm sure that my freshman year and my sophomore year, I didn't really have friends because I was so uncomfortable with myself that I would not allow people to really get to know me, you know? So then that summer after sophomore year, it came time to make a decision, you know? Do I keep wearing it and hate myself, or do I stop wearing it and hopefully get to do the things I want to do, right? So then that whole summer, those 3 months, I would think about that every second. Should I not wear it? Should I wear it? Should I not wear it? And so then finally, in fact, it was so bad that I would have nightmares that I would wake up in school and have, and I was naked, you know, my arm was naked. And that was my nightmare. I would have that like every week.
So you didn't have the underwear nightmares?
Or no, I was the no prosthetic arm nightmares. And so then I finally, that's when the iPad came out. When the iPad came out, and this very nice person, Lola, she helped me get it because we were gonna try to get it, but of course it was expensive for us. So then she was from my insurance company, my medical insurance, and she got it for me, and she brought it home, and it was such a big surprise. And so then that iPad is what allowed me to change my life as well, because once I saw that I could handwrite on the iPad, I was like, okay, I don't need to wear the prosthetic arm anymore. So now it's just a choice of, do I want people to see me like this or without it, you know? So then I decided I'm gonna try the iPad. So that first day of my junior year, when I was on my way to school, man,
Rough?
it was one of the worst days just because I was so nervous. Especially because I used to go to your class before, so I was nervous about what you were gonna think.
Really?
Yeah, because you were.
Because you cared.
Yes, yes. And then, so when my mom dropped me off right here, she was like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "I don't know," you know. And we prayed and everything. As soon as I got down in the car, my friends and people were like, "Hey, Carlos." That's it. Hey, what's up? No. And then I went to your class. You were like, Carlos, you know? And I was like, hey, Boyko. And you didn't even mention it.
That's because we didn't look at your arm.
You didn't even mention it. I was like...
That's what we discussed a week ago, is that you expected everyone to immediately zoom in on this part of you, but we had stopped looking at that part of you years ago.
And that's when I was able to finally be myself around people, because this is who I am, you know? And... of course, I would still make jokes about my hands, when I started making jokes about my hands, it was just so I would feel better, because I was sad, I was going through a lot of things, so the jokes would get people to...
Yeah, we would laugh and it would make you...
So that would make me feel part of the group, you know? But then, my junior year, when I stopped wearing it, I would make the jokes and I would actually think they were funny, because I was like, hey, this is me, you know? I'm making fun of myself because of the person I am, not because of my disability, and that's actually funny, and that's actually good, because why am I gonna be sad about my hands, you know? I can't do anything about it, so let's just turn it around and use it to make me happy.
And we talked about this idea of, and I think every human goes through it or doesn't make it, which is the moment where you finally are like, I'm me.
Yeah.
And I'm totally cool with it.
And like I told you, that was the hardest decision I've made in my life, but at the same time, it was the best decision I've made in my life. Like, if we go through decisions every day, and really major ones as well, but even now I can tell you that's the best decision I've made in my life, because now I don't even have to think about that. I'm free, you know? And that was the best decision I've made in my life. And like I said, that was because of technology. Because the iPad helped me, you know? Like, I was like, okay, I can do what I do with the prosthetic arm on my iPad. And those people who make those products, they make it, of course, because of the money and but they don't realize how many people they actually help.
Well, I wanted to ask you, because Apple, you know, they're trying to do the iBrain
Whoa, I didn't even know that. Really?
Look it up. It's something which is, and I think Stephen Hawking is part of it for
what
his
is this?
disability.
I have an eye brain.
Well, I mean, do you think we'll look back someday and treasure these companies for what they did for not just the consumer, because they're making a ton of money.
I don't know if people will, but at least I will, because really they helped me a lot. Like the iPad. That.
So even indirectly, this object that we play Candy Crush on and screw around on Facebook, this changed your life for real.
Yes, and that's why I think I'm always trying to get like the
updated phone.
Just because I don't want to say I love these things, because I don't love them. They're just
objects.
Objects, yeah. But they helped me a lot. They help me in everything I do. You know, if I need to remember something, instead of writing it on a notepad and trying to see how I'm going to write it, I just turn on my phone and.
True. I mean, 100 years ago, words per minute. I'd have had you.
Yeah.
Even Coach Lee would have you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no.
What's email, Boyko?
Yeah, I actually type really fast.
Do you type really fast? Even.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't swipe? You don't do the swipe?
No, I don't.
No kidding.
No, because
I would
my
assume
finger
you would
doesn't
swipe.
My finger is so soft that it just bends. So I'm like, but on the computer I can type really fast.
No kidding. Well, then I
That's
take it
how
back. I'm
my
an
notes.
idiot.
No, that's how I take my notes in college now.
Really?
Yeah, on a computer. Yeah, I type fast. I'm trying to be humble though.
You don't have to be humble today.